for the OWL study?
It is not on yet.
Okay. It should, because my screen says stop capture, so if I hit it, it's going to go off.
Maybe it is. No. I could be wrong.
Usually there's a green.
It's always white.
Well, I don't know.
I think it's running because the timer's going.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, so we're good. Okay. I'm glad you all could come today, and I'm sorry that we didn't have enough to have a quorum, but we're going to go ahead and just go real informally, have a real informal discussion. We're going to have notes, and we do have the OWL going, so we'll be fine with that. Nobody signed up to speak for public recognition. No. Okay, so we'll move on from there. I want to welcome Shannon Burdorf, and I know I misspelled your name. I apologize.
Oh, did you? I didn't.
Yes, I think so.
No, it's right. It's
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's perfect.
But I want to welcome Shannon.
And that never happens.
Well, you'd think with a last name Wilbur, everybody would spell it, but they spell it like Charlotte's Web, and it's with an ER instead of a UR at the end. So, yeah, I'm used to that, too. But anyway, we want to welcome Shannon. She's our new board member. She's also the commissioner's representative on the board. So, we've added to the agenda commissioner's report. So, I'm going to let her speak and introduce herself and give us a little bit of an overview of how that's going to work. You're ready?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I wanted to be on the library board. I guess I really never thought about it, but I know there had been so many issues and people coming and going and leaving, and other people in the community had asked me if I could do anything to help, and so I offered to be on the library board from the commissioners. For one thing, with a budget of $2.75 million, my job as a county commissioner, the first job I have is to make sure that the money that you all have is being spent well and correctly. So that is my first job. And my second job as someone who enjoys the library and still uses the library, although I may admit that I do use to go to the library because it's literally closer to me where I'm situated in Hendersonville than traffic-wise. It's easier also to get to. But I am an avid researcher and learner and reader. And so I want to be here to help with that because I believe that literacy is the most basic function of our society. And I'm pro-knowledge. And that is really why I wanted to be on the library board. And then, is that all?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Okay. And I think she's met everyone at the table, so, but is there anybody else you need?
Oh, yeah, it'll take me a minute to get to know everybody. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on because the minutes will be approved at our next meeting. But when we look at old business, we've lost our treasurer, and we're in the middle of a budget cycle, and we're going to have to start, attending budget meetings and that sort of thing. So I asked Beth if she would come and talk a little bit about the budget cycle, if we've got some questions or, any kind of interjection, is fine. So, but do you want to give us an overview first, or would you rather take questions first?
Let's take questions first. And I'm not sure
exactly
what you do know, don't know, need to know.
Right, okay. Does anybody?
I just made that too.
Sure.
She was so like, thank you so much.
I know. So, well, thank you. I think I hear that a lot, and a lot of the emails that I get copied on you know, I hear that a lot about how helpful, and I can see that in the emails that I'm copying on. Does anybody else have a question? I know March 1st is the deadline and everything was
March 1st is the
submitted.
deadline. We, have gotten the request entered into the budget document. We're in process of getting those sent out. If you don't get it this week, you should get it early next week, just to review, make sure everything we've entered is what you requested, that we didn't make an error. It's not for any new requests or, you know, anything you forgot. But it's mainly to make sure we didn't make any errors in what we entered, and then you'll have 2 weeks to review it on whenever you receive it to get back to us. Budget hearings are currently scheduled for May 2nd and May 3rd. Jessica from our office will be contacting you to set up a time for your budget hearing. Probably for that May 2nd date.
Okay.
Is what we're looking at, trying to get most of the departments scheduled for that date. So if we can get you, or if you would prefer to all come as a group, you know, you can reach out to Jessica and tell her if you would, you know, prefer to be here all together, or if you don't, it's fine either way.
Okay.
That's one, yeah,
Oh,
one
okay.
appointment, yeah.
And y'all
Doing it both ways.
What's easier for the finance department?
It doesn't really matter.
Whatever's easiest for y'all.
Sometimes it's a little quicker if you're all, because we'll just schedule a time period for all of you to be together. And I don't think any of you have any exorbitant requests or anything really extraordinary.
From what I understand, most everybody is staying within last year's numbers, right? And there haven't been a lot of new requests or anything else.
Henderson will add a personnel request, yeah. But let's see.
May I ask a question about
Yes,
that?
you certainly may. Okay.
And I would prefer if we could do it all together. This is my first time to do any of it, and I would like to lean on there.
And I'm sure that you can learn from each other. Good questions are good questions for everyone. That's how it matters.
That's, you know,
what I don't know.
I'm a word person, you know, so.
As it is the budget committee asking you to do questions. One, do you need personnel? That sort of thing. So,
Yeah, it's much less a speech and much more a Q&A. And you're not the Q. Which leads me to a question about the, it's part of y'all's budget, have y'all added the fix on the TLC and you don't have
So
to?
we could probably present that later and everything, but actually with what we would like to do is switch to ATM.
Right.
Which in the long run will be cheaper and still fits within our budget. So there's
I don't need more money.
there's no.
So you don't need it, I couldn't tell from the original numbers that we had gotten, so I didn't, because I don't have
Yeah,
history.
no, you're fine.
So I didn't know, okay,
Yeah.
so all that's part of the thing,
Mhm.
okay.
Go ahead,
Going
Felicity.
to have a time to talk about that. We
Yes.
have some questions from
Yes.
I brought my catalog with me.
Okay.
They're more familiar with how to.
Yeah, I know. And I have used Atrium for 13 years, so, I can give you a little bit of,
Ours wasn't so much the functionality of it. There was some discrepancies in the quote that I received based on our circulation numbers.
Lisa, you give that one to Shannon, please.
I don't need it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Who is Lisa?
I'm Lisa.
Okay.
and, here.
Yeah, there
I
you
knew
go.
it was one of you two, but I wasn't.
This
Do
is
you need
Alicia.
one? Yes, I know Alicia.
Okay. So, anyway, my question, I guess, is, will we be able to keep Susie as our note taker for next year, for next budget year? Okay, okay. So it's built into that budget again, okay. And now, we haven't paid her for January or March, so it's going, you know, we won't be using that part of this year's budget either. So, okay.
Yeah, I'll submit it later.
Okay, good, because,
I got rid of the toilet paper, but I can submit it later.
okay. Priorities are
They
priorities,
are okay.
you know, so, anyway, and then, I think that's the only major question I had about that. I can't think of anything else, and we can talk about Adrian again in a minute. And, is there anything else, as you've listened to it, that you need to tell us?
The only thing that I would reiterate is anytime, I know we had some issues with the tech grants this year and the process of those. So anytime you are getting any kind of grant, which there's a new resolution on that, before you even apply for the grant, that you have to notify the finance department. There's just new procedures for that. So if you're planning on applying, just contact them first.
And I
Before
will,
we even apply, then?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
and I'll make myself available to sign off on it, if you get it to, you know, I will drive anywhere to sign off on it.
Guidelines up on the
They're on the
website,
finance
so I can
website.
find it. If I can have it, I can follow directions. So let me ask, just reiterate what you just said in my mind. You're saying that before you can apply for any grant, you have to contact to make sure it's okay to write for the grant?
Well, we have to set the project number. The application has to be, scanned into our system, and then has to be sent to the budget committee and the, commission for it to apply for.
Okay.
In the past, you could apply and then send it to, but it was supposed to be approved by the commission before you start spending it. And that didn't happen this last year. So now the rules have even changed since then. So.
You watch us run this year, though. And thank you for your patience with us this year.
Right, and we knew that. We knew it was a lot of newbies.
Right.
It's a learning curve.
And,
Yes, it is.
and those check grants are valuable in one go,
Yes.
so.
Yes, and the libraries have been getting those for,
Yeah.
as long as I've been.
Yeah.
So just remember that you gotta send that application in so you can get it in the system first.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody else have anything, questions, concerns, anything about budget?
Just pray.
Thank you, Beth. Yeah.
Just, yes.
Thank you.
And, yes, thank you for being so helpful, and thank you for taking the time to come down here and talk to us. So,
I think just, if y'all, the finance department is here to help you. You know, sometimes we get a bad rap. We're here to help and to help you follow the rules, because it's easier to do it right the first time or in the beginning than to correct in the end. So, but don't hesitate to reach out to any of us at finance.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
And this may not be, and it needs to go up somewhere else or whatever. Is there, and then we've always been told this, is there a reason or is there a way that we can have the library take debit credit cards? What would be the process to start that discussion, I guess you would say?
It'd have to be approved by the commission.
Yeah.
You need to reach out to the trustees,
Okay.
because it,
Don't agree with that.
currently, the EMS department, it has that capability. County clerk's office, they have.
We've always been told that, yeah, we deal with such small amounts of fines and things, but
Right.
and nobody carries cash anymore.
Right, but that is an issue that EMS has run into recently.
Yeah.
The fees are way more than the revenue
And it
they
may
were
still be,
receiving. And if that's the case, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no need to do that, if that's the case.
But to start a discussion, maybe reach out to Cindy or advance the trustees.
And I mean, sometimes you can actually, I mean, and it would have to go through the whole line first, but a lot of times, if you do offer that, a lot of times you can actually tack that fee on it so that
Yes,
you're
you
not
would need to
losing
do
it.
that.
Exactly,
And then people are choosing,
Right.
you know,
Can you
hey,
ask
I'll pay that
the-
3%, or I'll pay that whatever.
EMS is doing that,
Yeah.
the bank fee.
oh.
Still were
Wow.
more
That surprises me.
way
Okay.
more. Like, 3 or 4 times more
That's
than what they're
crazy.
collecting.
Yeah.
So,
Would that inhibit your ability to collect your fines if you charge that 3%? Have you?
I don't think so.
Because when we send them to the ATM, they're paying 5,
Yeah.
7%
And like I
on
said,
that.
you're dealing with most of the generation now that's all they
Yeah.
know is
Yeah.
cards. So they're like, sure, yeah, whatever, fine, take it, you know.
Yeah.
So
And if you go up to like Westmoreland area, especially like any small mom and pop restaurants, like if you're gonna pay with a card, you have to pay the 3% fee or whatever, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I know Metro does that, but Metro libraries do not take debit cards.
Okay.
I have to write them a check.
Nashville doesn't?
No, because I have to pay for my out of county. So, well, it's free if I don't use the computer, you know, where I check out on the.
I think it takes a turn.
No, but it's $10 for the access to the. I don't watch the movies or do anything. I don't check out any of the books on Kindle. I don't do any of that. But I pay $10 for the luxury of sitting at home to look to see what I want to check out. So I don't have to go through the catalog. I have to write them a check. They don't take cash. Do we take cash for fines?
we do.
Oh, we do?
Yeah,
Okay.
cash or check.
And a lot of times, if there's a choice, it won't get in the way of. I mean, they're either choosing to use their debit card and paying the whatever percentage on top, or they get to pay cash and not pay the.
Oh, I understand how it works. I just didn't know if it would inhibit your ability, or if they would say, I can't afford that and walk away.
Yeah.
Because I guess some people can rack it. They don't have fines at Metro anymore.
I know.
But they will send you to collections if your book is not.
Yeah.
And that does not make any sense to me. That's like the county suing somebody for $45. Anyway,
That's for a lost book or a non-returned book. Is that what you're saying?
collections, yeah, if you don't return, whatever it is, yeah.
We've had discussions about fine free, but it's like, hadn't gone very far.
White House didn't want to find.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
How's that working out for
Well, she
y'all?
started,
Oh,
well, she's not there,
Yeah,
she's just started, yeah.
Oh,
what's the
okay.
incentive to return?
You know what, I really think that, so my daughter works for the Nashville Public Library, and she says that since they've gone fine free, she could tell the difference. There is the one stipulation that they do send you to collections after a certain time. I think it's so many days and you're charged to your account, so, that we do the same thing.
Mhm.
We just don't send them to collections.
Do y'all depend on fines?
We don't get.
We don't get it.
It doesn't generate
The general fund.
It generates income for the general fund.
Yeah.
So the libraries are charging the fines and collecting them.
So you don't
But
benefit
It's
from
not
it?
that into our budget.
If somebody pays for a
doesn't-
lost book, the money for that lost book goes into the general fund, and then we have to rebuy the book out of our book fund. We don't even
Typically,
get
we
that.
ask them, we suggest
Yeah,
that they buy the book, because it'd be cheaper for them anyway.
yeah,
They just donate it to us.
instead of us having
And
to.
they,
Yeah.
And that
And a lot of times they do that, a lot of times they'll, yeah, because they can actually purchase the book cheaper, they can go to Amazon, if it's a, viable book, and it's not from another library, or.
Now, one thing that we used to do, was like fine-free events, where right before, summer reading, or right before you go back to school, we would have a food for fines, and Gabby even did a presentation thing about, the program and everything. She just had it. So it is something we would like to
They
have
did
back.
those at Metro too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something we would like
And
to
it was
have back.
awesome.
We were told
Yeah.
several years ago by finance that, we didn't bring in enough revenue,
Mhm.
so we canceled those, but it wasn't a permanent cancel. And we were gonna talk about maybe asking for y'all's opinion, thoughts. I have Steve there. About
waivers, where they bring in like canned goods
Right.
or food
Yeah.
or personal hygiene.
I did that myself.
Yeah.
Because I had kids that would lose stuff. I mean, I participated in that.
And it helps both the patron and the community, because
Yeah.
the community gets,
We all have like.
And occasionally, we'll get an email, somebody suggested going fine free. So, the idea is out there, and they would like that idea of going fine free. But it'll be a community effort between finance and the commission.
Yeah.
So, but it's something to think about. All right, moving right along. Anybody else?
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. And you're welcome to stay if you want to, but I know you've got things to do. If you need to get back, that's fine, too. Okay. I've got, facilities committee, and we don't have anybody from the committee here, but they all experienced it.
My facilities report.
Okay.
Yes, so
Okay. So they've been inspected and they've been facility walkthroughs, so they can tell you what they found in their reports when we get there.
Okay.
Okay. We'll skip
More
to.
things for us this week, so.
Yeah.
I know, I heard about your water pressure thing or something with that, and,
So, yeah, we're still, we're looking at that.
just so you know, and I guess it goes back to the rough winter. I've seen a lot of utility trucks. Oh, this wasn't due to the rough winter? Okay.
So, yeah, when they came in, they had gone down to that unit that was by the street, and he came back, there was two of them, and said, that is really rusted. It has not been maintained, so we're gonna put that in our report, and then the guy hit the valve, and the water shot through and blew it up, and we had a water feature for a little while.
So I was trying to be nice and blame the winter, and I couldn't do that, okay. Okay, so, as, it's life, isn't it? One thing after another. So, yeah, we'll get to you in your report in just a minute, when we go through. We're gonna put the new business into the next meeting, committee, all of those things into next meeting. So we're gonna look at director reports right now, and listen to what they have to say, question, answer, that sort of thing. I've got Gabby first, or I just put Galaxy first.
Okay, so, I'll go ahead and tell you, because I didn't bring y'all the facility reports, I didn't think about that. But the only things I had were my carpet in the children's room, which is starting Monday, maintenance and IT and the trustees are coming to replace.
And you're closed on Monday, so that
Yes,
they
and
can
we
be
can be
there.
open while they're doing it. We were upstairs,
Okay.
staff goes in to that area for the day,
Okay.
and nobody minds. So that'll take place Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And, let's see, all of us are, I'm just skipping, I have a random, I think all four of us, I'm not sure about Alicia, are all going to the TNLA conference next month. And I'm gonna brag on Lauren, because she doesn't, she's presenting this year.
Oh, really?
So we're all going, so we will be out for a couple of days in April on those days.
But it works out well because it's a Thursday and we're in Arizona.
Okay.
So there's only one day that's
Okay.
We have an Easter egg hunt coming up, and we just bought 1,500 more eggs because we did the math for last year, and we only have about 2,000 eggs, and we had over 400 kids last year, so we bought more, and eggs are expensive. Like $91 for, yeah. So that's exciting. I'm hoping it's as big as last year. We also have Square Fest coming up, and we are going to have 4 local authors and 4 local nonprofit agencies set up with our friends of the library so that we're getting lots of attention during Square Fest. And I know I've said it before, we have the cleanest bathrooms in Gallatin, and they're free. So we get a lot of traffic during Square Fest.
And when is that?
April 27th. And let's see. We are getting security cameras. Our friends at the library are buying us 8 computers, and IT and maintenance are going to set them up. We're going to have 2 outside and 6 inside. We got the same kind that Anita got, so we know they're great. Let's see. Some of the events that we had in the last couple of months, we did 2 events for Valentine's Day because we did it the weekends before and after. The first one we did Donut Day, and we had Walmart donated 100 donuts, like plain glazed donuts for kids to decorate, and we had a craft kit. We had a balloon artist and a scavenger hunt, and I can't even remember what else. I've got pictures in my report. And it was a big hit. We had, just on our door counter, we had 272 people come in our back door. And then on Pokemon Day, the next weekend, we did, you know, Pokemon, the pink characters and the lovey characters. And we had 359 that day. This month, our teams, we're still trying to get teams in. They have no interest in us. We don't have luck like y'all do, but we're trying. So we are doing a March Madness with young adult books, and every week they're getting to vote in person and online, and that's gotten more attention than anything we've done for teens in a long time. So and then we're going to show that movie with snacks and stuff at the end of the month, whatever one wins. I've been invited to be part of the Sumner County, first ever Sumner County History Camp that the museum is putting on. And one of the full days is going to be at the library. Naturally, it's one of the days I have leadership gallatin, so I won't even be there, but my people can handle it. But it's a 4-day camp for middle schoolers, and we're going to be going all over Sumner County and learning about history. And they sold out a ticket like in less than 2 weeks. So we're really excited they let us be a part of that. I think that's about it. My stats are in here. They're looking great. I went ahead and did the last 4 months since we didn't meet last month. If y'all have any questions, just holler.
And are those your copies? I don't think I have my stuff.
Yes.
Do I have yours
I
yet?
think so. I think mine's on the bottom.
Is it? No, this is all Portland.
Well, hang on. I'm so sorry. I got lots.
Maybe I'm not sure if I have it either.
Joel.
We just want to make sure
There you
you
go.
have it
I
right.
gave somebody something. So you have it.
That's right.
Okay. Jackie got it.
I've got it now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm done if y'all don't have any questions.
I was gonna say, with those double Valentine things and all the things that you've been doing, how is traffic and circulation and all of that?
So many new cards every day, and surprisingly, a lot of them come from like Chicago and California, and people are moving in droves, and we make lots and lots and lots of new cards. And I think I have some pictures in there too. We have an artist display every month that goes through our Friends of the Library, but they do a reception once a month, and each month we have different artists. And our last 2 of those, we had Frank G, and I don't know if y'all ever heard of him. He's a local artist. Last month, we had over 400 people at his show, and some of them drove from places to come to it. So it was people that probably would have never seen our library otherwise, and it's really easy to have a reception. So we love our artists. And we have another one this weekend, 11 to 2, for Jerry Grubb. It has been a long time since I've gotten to talk up here, and now I'm worked up. Yes, lots of new cards, all the new people. It's
I take the Gallatin paper, so I read the article about Frank G.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, we're friends. So I was tickled that that y'all got to host Frank G. And because his art is just sublime.
I don't
love
know,
it.
You know what his health is right now, and we will probably be the last public show he ever has.
I didn't know about that, but it was an excellent write-up. So the Gallatin. Will they come out and
do all
your?
of them.
So they do every one of your art showings. That's awesome.
The lady that works on the Gallatin paper is also part of she's called the 3 Great Dames, and it's a musical.
Yes.
woodwind trio, and they come and perform occasionally, and she is one of the main writers of the Gallatin paper, and
Oh, that's
we really
wonderful.
love her, and she
That
takes
is
care of
great
us.
free publicity. Yes.
And that, she has a Portland connection too. She started in Portland
She's
writing.
ours.
And then, okay, I'm not gonna take her away from you.
They're taking too much away from me. Like Portland, Miller, they take my volunteers, they take my friends.
Take your.
Yeah, but, she started in Portland, but she is,
That's fine.
you know, she covered a lot of things in Portland. She is wonderful, and they were there Christmas. They were there Christmas, because I saw it.
Oh, yeah, that's in house, yeah.
Yeah, at open house, they were there too.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Hendersonville, okay.
This past month, well, past 2 months, we have opened our toy library and our food library. Those have been a bigger success than what I did in at first.
What is a toy library?
So, our toy library, we collected toys, they took donations in, just educational toys, no batteries, no electronics, things that encourage, play. And I will give you a copy of this when I walk around. But it talks a little bit about why a toy library would be needed. It allows kids to check out toys that they may not be able to have at home. Parents can try things out before they buy them, and it just kind of increases that use of community sharing. And, I mean, what kid doesn't want to come in and walk out with a toy as well? So, we do have limits. For instance, if you check out a toy, you can't check out the same toy the next week. You have to wait and let somebody else do it. I think we have 30 toys currently that are in rotation. If it's not on the bookshelf, there's a catalog that kids can look at and kind of plan what's coming next. And then, just wait for that.
Does your children's librarian, pair those with literature of any sort?
There's literature sitting right beside it.
Oh, okay.
So there's different books talking about sharing and, you know, things that are
Or like if you had a
relevant.
backhoe, you would have like a Dorkins and whatever, like. Well, but you know what I mean.
Right now, a lot
I'm
of the
just
toys that we
thinking.
have are just like manipulative,
Oh, okay.
backing,
Yeah.
that type of thing. As we increase it, and we have boxes all down our hall of toys. So as we go through things, we find better toys, figure out how it's even working, because it's only been opening for a month.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're functioning slow and taking care of the patrons' questions and needs as they come up before we get into bigger.
Yeah, oh, I just didn't know. I think that's a
And
great
then the
idea.
seed library is where we supply seeds, and they can come in with a card, or they can fill out their email, take the seeds home, plant them, and then when harvest time comes, they'll return those seeds and continue it. So that's just free, come grab some seeds. We have a local artist who's also involved in all the environment, and really gave me a lecture about invasive species and bees that I wasn't expecting. She has poured her heart into this program and took a card catalog and painted it and got it all ready for the public to have. And we had a lot of good, positive feedback through social media about people excited to see what's happening, that it was happening in other libraries, and to have it in Hendersonville was nice as well. I will credit Lisa with getting that started. So she is part of the Master Gardeners of Sumner County. They have also partnered with us to completely redo all of our landscaping. That got started in the winter as they planted bulbs. It's now coming up. We just did our designation, I'm sorry, I'm on meds. Dedication of the Monarch Way Station. So it's a big project that's going on. One of the things that the Master Gardeners really wanted, and this just makes me love our community, is they wanted a shed for all their equipment. So I don't have finances for a shed. And our friends really didn't have the money for it, so our county maintenance department heard that we needed a shed, and they found one on Merrill Heights property, but the school property, that wasn't being used. And then we reached out to the community and found a mover with a steel company who just wanted to give back to the community, and they got that whole shed, because they couldn't take it apart, moved in place, and it cost us nothing.
so we had a beautiful metal show. So there is, when I do hand these to you, there is a write-up on both the toy library, food library, and then things that are going on with the Master Gardener. Because, like I said, I took a note. Do you want to talk about the rosarium? Because I will butcher that one.
So so in our courtyard, it hasn't been worked on in years. In fact, I think the last time it was worked on was probably 2009 or 2010. And we have a master rosarian, Ron Daniels, who is taking on when you're in the courtyard, the left side of the courtyard is going to be a formal rose garden. So we're in the transition of taking the plants out and planting the roses that'll be in that area. We figured that was a safe area where to put those for the sheer standpoint of the children use the courtyard a lot. But that area, the children aren't in. It's kind of decorative and blocked off from the sidewalk area. We're hoping that should begin soon and be finished before the end of the growing season. On the right side of our courtyard, we're going to request to build a children's interactive gardening spot so that we'll have raised beds, teaching children how to raise their own vegetable garden, how to raise their own plants and gather seeds. Some other things that we're going to incorporate in that area in the courtyard will be that children's area. We already have games set up in there, giant-sized lawn games, a giant chessboard and a giant Connect. And then we have some furniture that we're hoping to work on and beginning some new cushions for that area that we're going to hopefully go through the Friends to get that. But we got a proposal together. We're hoping to present that tomorrow to the Friends to be able to acquire a little bit more money to be able to back some of those projects. We figured that with what we were able to get donations and donated items and man hours already since January, we've acquired over $4,000 worth of donations for that area. So the only money that we've acquired for that area from the Friends is around $500. So we're going to request a little bit more money to see if we can augment that change rapidly rather than a little bit of a slow pace that we're hoping.
As far as like logistics, all our Title VI certified now. They've all done their training.
That's great.
90% have completed their core competencies. I have some newer employees that just haven't gotten to it yet. Our projection is to have that 100% by April 1st. Our staff training day may or may not happen. It was scheduled for March the 22nd. We're going to check on that. We have first aid CPR training that's going to be provided to our staff by the Hendersonville Fire Department. That will be taking place in April. It will not be open to the public. It is strictly for our staff. This came about when nobody knew where the first aid kit was, that we had Narcan, how to use a fire extinguisher. We have some younger people that just haven't experienced those things, so I thought it was important that they be trained, and the fire department's going to do it for free for us. With our budget, we are at 56%. Across the board. We have had some major expenses with our elevators and now this fire thing. I'm not sure whether that's going to have to come out of my budget or if it's going to go somewhere else. That remains to be seen. In April, I will not be, I hope to attend the conference, but I'm going to get my heart fixed. So we're going to do that on that day instead. It's a little important.
Yes.
You know, I asked, I was like, if surgery is only an hour, can I get there? But, that following Saturday, which I am going to try to attend, because I'm really excited about this, we are celebrating the Pony Express, because it's the anniversary, and there's a big, approximation called Biblio Burrow. There's a big long story of how it happened. We've managed to get a donkey that's going to come and is going to learn all about the Pony Express and why the librarians during that time are important. with that initiative. We've partnered with WHIN to be a part of the K9 Classics 5K that's going to take place at the library, utilizing that. So we'll have a booth out to talk about our different programs, maybe get some new library cards. Last April, we had done our special needs awareness co-op event. We had, at that time, I believe we only had 12 vendors. I put 20 plus on my thing because I didn't want to commit everybody, but right now it looks like we have 26 different resources that are going to come, set up tables, and just make a day of learning about what types of resources we have in our community for special needs. And I think that covers it.
Okay. So, circulation's up, people are coming in, and...
Oh, yeah. This is why I'm asking for more employees. We have stopped as far as starting any new programs, because honestly, we don't have any more space. Our meeting rooms stay booked. Just last month, we had 43 events that weren't sponsored by us. And our program attendance, it was 992. I wanted to put our library visits, but our sensor got broken, so we are having a new one as well.
Okay.
But they're really good.
Thank you. I hope everything goes well in April.
I'll be on the best place if something does go wrong.
That's right.
Don't have to that.
Right. Yeah. All right. Westmoreland.
Oh, me?
Yes, you're up, Miss Lauren.
I changed it up, there's two more.
Yeah.
Celia, and then,
Yeah, I
you can always go
saw
on back
that.
into it.
Yeah.
Beth, I have an extra if you want it.
Know what we're doing.
Beth stayed, so I'm like, might as well know what I'm talking about. I don't have anything in my packets that's like looking forward, so I'll do that like normally, like what's coming up thing. January, this was from the packet that I had for January meeting. Nothing really big of note, just our different programs that we had. Our coming soon was our floor layout, so that last page, that's our projected layout with our restructure, all the shelving for the children's library and adult library to be swapped. Worked out my finance, thanks to Beth. Gonna be able to purchase some furniture. Move some funds around and get a new desk for my children's librarians because I'm taking back my office. I've currently been working out of the kitchen for about a year and a half because the children's librarians needed a space to prep for programs and do their work, and so my office is in the middle of the children's area. It just made sense at the time, but I'm excited to have my space back instead of leaving and walking out and cooking in my area. So that's exciting. That is projected to be in September. I'm working with Robert and Jeff and maintenance and IT to get that all set up. So that's pretty much all January's report. And then this report for March, the green one, is just got like our programs and events. Our homeschool program on Wednesdays continues to be our biggest. Today we had 40 people in the building, and if you've ever been in our building, 40 people seems like a lot of people in that really small space. You can't be on one end without hearing all the kids having fun on the other end. Kind of have to come through and remind the 8-year-old boy, it's like, hey, slow down. Like, you can't run into space ever, but like, they just get excited and they're not bad behaved. They're just happy to be together. We've had a couple of teen programs that we're slowly working on, getting teens involved in something aside from sports or just being at home is interesting with our hours and with our town, so working on branching out some more. We added 197 new books to our collection and only got rid of 29, so we're growing a lot. And then something that I added on page 7, our library of things, Alicia, I say it wrong all the time. Alicia, she talked about, like, y'all have the toys, so we've got these kits that we order from Kenworthy. All of them so far have been purchased through regional, state, federal funds. And we have, as of today, this report is old, I've cataloged the rest that we had in our hands today. So we've got 19 kits that include like toys, hands-on, textiles, different things that they can work, and it also has a book paired with it. It's all in a bag. They can check it out, and on the bag it has listed like what's in it, what's the replacement cost for that item, because the kits are like $140 or more. But if they can replace, like if they lose one of like the brain diagram or whatever, they can just replace that and spend like $20 instead of having to get the whole kit. But we have 5 more coming in. I just made an order this morning. So we kind of outgrew our shelf space there, but when we restructure this fall, it's going to have a whole section dedicated to it. Spending, we're on target. I've used most of our county budget funds for books, but we've got our regional purchases we're about to make, and then like when summer reading hits, we're not ordering books. We're just focusing on serving people. So we're pretty much on track. And then page 10 on the green packet, it's just our looking ahead. I did include you in that. I've slept since then, barely. So March 16th, this Saturday, we are breaking ground, sort of, on our community garden. Lisa, lovely Lisa, partnered us up with a local Sumner County master gardener, Tricia Kitchens, and then we have Katie and Treasure, who are also working on this. They have Point Richard Compton Sawmill, we've got Beasley Property Maintenance, they're all working on it, and between our friends and then the county master gardeners, it's completely paid for. We've had a lot of donations coming in for that. So we're excited to start breaking ground-ish. They're all going to be raised beds. The only thing we're breaking ground on is we're going to put some fence posts down to help with critters. The day before Easter, that Saturday, we are closed for Good Friday, but we're going to be at the park about a block over from where the library is, doing our community egg hunt. This is a partnership we had with the city last year, and it's even bigger this year. Last year we spent about $750 through donations with the Friends to host it. This year I set the budget the same. I was like, we're just going to work with what we've got and what we know, and then we can start building up for next year. Our donations have already hit $1,150 for the egg hunt. So I've already bought all the candy. Next week I'm out of town, but we've got people coming in stuffing eggs, and we've got all the city's eggs, all of our eggs. It's going to be a whole event for them to get those ready. But I'm going to have like craft stations. I'm going to have I'm borrowing Gabby's bookmobile from Gallatin. She's gracious enough to let us borrow it. I'm going to have a staff member working on like if people want to sign for library cards, if they want to know more, just stuff like that set up. We've partnered with local churches that, just the connections we had that they wanted to donate. They're not going to do an egg hunt at their church. They're going to fund this to help it be bigger. So it's going to be a big ordeal. I'm excited. Really glad that I'm actually able to enjoy it this year. Last year I was extremely pregnant during the egg hunt, and I was miserable trying to spray paint the lines on the ground. Couldn't even like bend over. I was spray painting my foot. So this year will be more fun. I put on here to begin my ILS migration. We haven't talked about Atrium. That is just the target date because of summer readings. So that's just something that we can include in that because we want to make sure if we do go forward with this that it's done before summer readings start. We don't want to do that in the middle of summer.
Your face. It's going to be great someday.
And then purchasing new furniture, I plan to do that in April. It'll be delivered, we'll store it in-house until after summer when we remodel. Not remodeling, we're not tearing down walls, we're not putting up anything. But when we restructure the shelves, I'll be putting in a whole new circulation desk that matches what we have up front, just like smaller, for the children's librarians. And I also plan to purchase myself a new desk because mine is old, and when we moved it to the kitchen, it broke, and it's kind of just like living its life, barely. I don't put too much weight on it. So I told my friends of the library that I'll have to get rid of that, and it's something that they donated in memory of someone, so we're working on fixing like what we can do going forward. But aside from that, what? Pretty normal. Day to day. We're busy as ever. We had several new cards made in February. February and January usually are slowest months, and we normally get like 20 new cards or something. We had 43 new cards in January. So that was a big, I was surprised when I looked up those reports.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Amy, you're up.
I think I've got y'all the
I've emailed most of it already to y'all. It just is, the first one is November and December, and it's just what we were doing, and it has our stats, and it's got a comparison, and just the fun stuff that just kind of is what makes the library be a library. So for our January and February is this group, and I'm super duper excited about so much stuff that we've been doing. It's ridiculous. So I was able to participate in February with the one booklet at Millersville Elementary School. I was able to read the first 2 chapters of Mr. Poppy's Penguins, and the kids had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. I know this happened this month, but I was so excited about it, I just can't help it. The children's librarian and I went to the elementary school, and we participated in Read Across America Day, and I love partnering with the elementary school. We're going to go back for a game evening that they're going to have. We're going to have all our summer reading stuff, and so we can start getting that. That's going to be in April. We have finally completed all of our rebranding. And it's going to be in a packet that says Millersville Public Library Branding 2024. I think it should, everybody should have, it's in the packet. It's somewhere in there. And so it just really kind of, so we had our children's librarians create our new little, I don't know, a mascot, and we put, people out, we put on Facebook and Instagram where people could suggest names. And so we got the names from the community, and then we did a vote, and his name is Norman Buxley.
I love it.
And that is his bird Pip. And so, if you want, they're the sources I used for deciding how we were going to do our rebranding. So we have our color schemes, our fonts, our primary is, so it just goes through the children's has a special little different font, and so we can try to get all of our social media. If you notice, all of our print materials is all kind of in the same. We want to have a very consistent image, and that's not something we've had before. And so Penny and I have been working on this since August. And then we have our new logo. And then we have our official letterhead. It's got the seal of Sumner County, and it's got our library on it. It's got our basic contact information. This is for the official documentation, like when we need to write everything down. And then on the back of that page is the mission statement from the library board. It has our vision statement, and we are currently working on our core values and a motto for our library. And I'll get into that in a minute. Y'all know I have no show. Okay, and so these are examples of Norman that we can use throughout all of our social media. He's going to be popping up. We have a gnome that's reading a book that we have painted that looks like this, and so he's going to start going out in the community, and people find them. They can tag us on Facebook or Instagram and that type of thing. And I'm working with the few local partners we have in Millersville to see if, we could do a drawing for the first 5 people that find them. Your name goes into a drawing to get, a gift card or a gift certificate, or maybe your lawn mowed for free. I don't know. Don't tell the lady. They don't know I'm going to ask for that. And so there's just another book sleeve. And then this is our social media brand for, where your picture goes. On Facebook and Instagram. I don't know. He's just adorable. And we thought it worked for Millersville, and so it's Norman Buxley, the reading gnome. And the kids loved it because they got to help people. Okay, so I was really excited about that, so I kind of jumped around. So I'm really excited about that. We're cleaning up the MARC record still. It's an ongoing process. I am still working on developing updated written procedures on day-to-day operations. Every time I'm like, yes, I'm done. Something else, I'm like, oh, okay. It's never done. we are continuing, it's a continual review of the collection to make sure we're in compliance with the adopted policy. We are working on a systematic review of our call labels, and a lot of, when Millersville first opened, all we had were books that were donated from other libraries that had already been used. And so the call numbers are all very different. There are still, we've got books from Gallatin that's got the Gallatin stamp on them. So this is just, as we're doing our inventory, we're going through, we're trying to make everything be consistent. Consistency is key to patron ease of access. And so it's arduous, but it's worth it because it'll make everything more accessible in the end. And already, summer reading, it's going. We'll take donations. So right now we are reviewing our collection. I hate the word estimate, but see where the oldest part of our collection is and kind of earmark part of the next year's budget to replace it so that there's a continual reading and renewing of the collection. So I'm working on that to figure out what we're going to be doing for next fiscal year. At the end of the fiscal budget, or February, we are at 57.9%. Something I literally just realized, and I've been here how long? Our February budget line doesn't include our P card purchases for February because they're still being processed. So there's actually more already spent, it just hasn't been finalized. I'm super smart. We had our staff training on March 5th. It was a hoot and a half. It was from 11 to 5:30. This allowed for anybody that wanted to go before or after to be able to go. Our friends provided our lunch for us, and we were really focusing on teamwork, communication, and how we can enhance the library. So we had everybody split up into teams, and they had like problem-solving things, and I think I'm funny, and I said the only rule is no electronics. It took them a while to figure out that they could ask each other. And then we each had a chapter of The Power of Moments by Chip and Van Hees, and it's about creating moments of exceptional moments, and how we can manufacture them for the people that come into our library. Like, our summer reading is spectacular, but what can we do to have it be one of those core memories? And once we build those core memories, especially for our young readers, they're going to be lifelong learners and readers. So we did a lot of that. We worked on creating our core values and our motto, and we've got big posters up in our everything space, and we're putting down ideas of what we want to do, and then we'll come back and brainstorm after something. Y'all know I love numbers, right? It's what makes a library run. I have the comparison of January and February of last year to this year, and just note, we were closed all of January last year because of the flood, so the numbers are vastly different. But I think considering we were closed for that long, we still did pretty good. We've been averaging about 40 people for our homeschool program on Wednesdays. We've been averaging about 20 people for our story time on Fridays. We have some adult programming that's kind of hit or miss. So we're just trying to see what people are interested in. The staff and I are working on a community survey. We are hoping to get it, I was hoping March 1st, that's not going to work, maybe April 1st, to get that out, and then I'm going to have it out all during summer reading and pull it back in September so that we can get a wide range of what our community needs, and then we can see what we can do to meet the needs in our community. This is going to be the 4th year that we've been a Steve Library. We're going to have that ready to go on Friday. I lost 2 clerks a day apart, and so we're short-staffed, but I've been doing interviews, and I hope to have people hired by next week. So that's kind of put all these projects a little behind. I had hoped to have the library up earlier. We are working with the friend of Gabby's that I stole because I'm awesome to help us work on our garden club for our kids again this spring and summer. I am meeting with the master gardeners to talk about our community garden as well. This is all things that we started during COVID, and it's been such a hit with our community that we keep on going. Okay, and so, y'all, I love numbers. It's the librarian in me. And so I have the statistical growth of Millersville, and this is from when we opened. And I think we opened in August of 2014, 2015? And so it's somewhere. I think it's 2014, 2015, so fiscal year 2015. And so this packet compares all the numbers that we use the statistical worksheet. I got it from Janice right before she left. I got all of the old ones. And it just shows like our wireless sessions is when people come in and use our Wi-Fi. We have extended the Wi-Fi out so you can get it in our parking lot, which is a great need that we have in Millersville. Our interlibrary loans, all of the very basic of things that libraries have been counting since libraries became a thing. We are, sorry, I know I'm taking too long. I really hope we can do the food for fines, because those donations would go directly to the food box, the blessing box at the library, and we can't keep it stocked. I stocked it this morning when I got in, and it was empty when I left. We reach out to, it's fully funded by the donations from the community. We can't keep it stocked. It is empty every day, and it breaks my heart because I don't have a way to stock it. So for the building review that Debbie and I did, I need to get the parking lot relined. I'm still just trying to figure out who I can even ask to find out how much that would be. Jeff told me I should talk to the guys that do the roads, so I'm going to send them an email. Yeah, I think that's what he said.
I'm on the highway.
Oh, okay, well, maybe I'll just talk to you.
My
parking lot is very
Not so
small.
bad to have a commissioner on the board after all.
My parking lot.
Huh?
Can we also talk about signs?
And I tell you what, Toby wants to be everybody's friend.
There you go.
I'm always looking for friends.
And then she finds them, and then I feel.
Toby likes to make people happy.
And then I just have one last thing. I know, I'm sorry, I appreciate everybody's patience. Our beautiful Gabby Cato has been given an honor award at the Tennessee Library Association this April, and it is for people that make a difference in their library and community, and she has to be recommended by someone. Like, it's not, she can't do it herself. But
I didn't know what it was for, because I don't know.
I work in a library.
Okay.
I know how.
The other awards are like trustees and friends and stuff, like the honor award is also.
Well, I will interject here. I was at dinner with a friend Friday night, and I know you're going to know her, but I will not name her for the owl. And she brings her granddaughter in, I think on Wednesdays for tutoring. It's when y'all have bingo.
Yes.
Because she solved your parking problem. She says you should have bingo in the mornings, not after school.
Oh, but it's not only bingo that's a parking lot full.
Well, anyway, we were talking about it, and she said, so my granddaughter goes and she said that she's a little bit on the spectrum, and she's a little bit, I don't know if she's completely reading yet or not, but I know she's an IAP at school. And she had to go to tutoring in a different library, and then she got in the car and she said, "Baby, I don't like this library at all. I like my Gallatin library, because my Gallatin library, when I walk in the door, it's like a big old hug."
Oh.
That's why we
And
do it.
I may have your recommendation if it has to be a member of the community.
Yeah, I don't even know what it takes. Anyone can
And
do
a
it.
recommendation on the
but I
CNOA
just-
website.
Abby won't talk about it, so, but we need to,
Yeah.
she's doing amazing things, and I'm so glad that she's gonna get recognized, and she hates that I said this, and I'm gonna do it again anyway.
Well, I wanted to share that with you because that tickled me. My kids never told me they thought their library was a big old thing. But I thought that was sweet.
That's her goal.
It's not about the dollars sometimes. You've gotta eat.
That's not me.
No, you've gotta eat, but it's about those little
It's the
things
mental.
that, yeah, that you just can't put a price
The
tag on.
glimmers.
Right.
Right, looking for the glimmer.
All right, Miss Anita, Portland.
I was going to say, it's hard to follow all those and everything, and I won't talk long, because if I just start talking too much, I'll start coughing and everything, so. You have my reports here from November and from December also. Everything's going great at Portland. The one thing I will say from January and February, our biggest program, be it children's, adults, anything, is our bingo program. We set a new record for us. On February the 20th, we had 65 people
Whoa.
in the
Was
bingo.
that the time I was there? Because I was
Yeah.
there for a record day.
Yeah.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
a big group.
Talk about a parking problem.
It was
We have a parking
huge.
problem on bingo day. Yeah. Miss Vicki is our star bingo caller. So for her, it's surprising how much they want that candy bar. That's what we get. We get candy bars and candy and
And
things
this
like
is
that.
not children, these are.
I liked bingo when I was a kid too.
Yeah, I mean, they literally, it's like a church, because they come in, well, you didn't used to sit there, well, that's so, yeah.
No, they did have food that day.
They did have food today. Our other thing is unlike the other ones and everything, they've been doing it for years. This is our first year of doing a seed library. Misa, who is my operations manager, she reached out to a lot of companies, the UT Extension Office, I mean, just a lot of we have over 3,000 seeds that we're ready to give away to people and everything. So this is our first year of doing that. Like I said, you can see all of our numbers that we have listed on here. Our budget today, right now, without the February, is at 59.3, so we're pretty much right on schedule with our budget also, yeah. Debbie Martin did come and do a facilities walkthrough with us in January. Nothing was found other than there were 2 doors that were leaking underneath, and it was just from where the weather strippings are so old. So I just got new weather stripping and put them on myself, yeah. Other than that, we were all good. Any questions or anything? Anybody? Mine's easy.
Thank you. All right, well, good, yeah. So everybody is on schedule and very good. So, when we start turning in the reports and all for MOE, sounds like we're going to be good. So that's really good to know. All right, Miss Cecilia?
I didn't
From
know
Red
if you
River.
wanted to hear from me today, but,
Yes.
I'll be quick too, I know it's getting late. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you to Commissioner Burgos for meeting with me, that was a really nice chat. We spent a couple of hours at one of the Nashville branches.
Gillisville.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. I have a lot of submarine stuff in the car, so before you leave, can I give you a bunch of questions? The tech grant, you mentioned the tech grant, so the term ends at the end of April, so we can get the invoices in and all that stuff, and then I guess the deadline will be sometime in May, June, usually when we do it, to apply again.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but if you have any questions about it, you can get in touch with us.
Is there a
I think
deadline?
you're all good.
Is there a deadline for installation?
Yeah, okay. And I guess the county is helping you with that.
Oh, yes, okay, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're installing
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, exactly. If not, you can always contact us to have some, because I think your county is taking care of it, right?
Y'all have to stress IT department.
I know, we have that one person who's very amazing. E-rate 471 is closing on March 27th. One news from the region that I've listed here that I think is kind of nice, that you probably know, you might have heard about this, the Church of Montgomery has been working to get a branch forever. I think when I started in 2016, I thought they were going to open that year, but
that, of course. So we're now groundbreaking on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's big news for them. Yeah. So it's exciting that somebody's actually getting a branch and a county that's putting a lot of money into the library for sure. I sent an email out the other day about having a board chair.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
I need to respond, but
Okay,
I'm planning on.
good.
Being there.
So we'll talk about board recruitment, we'll talk about working with the library directors, we'll talk about budget. That's kind of what, this is the time to talk about that, so I'm hoping to get some board chairs on board that day, and we'll chat about that. We do board chair roundtables. We try to do it every quarter. We have 14 libraries in the region that I work in, so.
And it's a team's meeting, so I can
It's kind of
sit in
nice
my
to get
living
people
room
together.
and look at all of it.
Yeah.
And it is really nice to see them. And then when we went to the training in September,
Yeah.
to actually, put a face to a name is neat too.
Yeah.
So.
And it's always different experiences.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing. TLA is coming up, so I'm glad that you guys are coming, because it's going to be Franklin and sending staff and stuff. That's really, really nice, and I'm excited. We have a person in our office who's on the awards committee. Anyway, so, and then also, so I'm just be that you're presenting, I'm hoping to go to it. Unless it's
I think it's at the same time
That's
as
mine.
Lori and y'all, so it's just
That's just perfect, so all the 20.
Caitlin can attend it again.
Yeah, she will have to
Same thing as
go.
Article.
She will have to go. We have some trainings going on this month, so we're doing time management for like team meetings, so it's not in person, so that's good. We are having a cataloging training on April 16th, so hopefully you can send your catalogers to that. Jobeth will be doing that together with Laura.
Is it open to catalogers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I.
Of course, you never know.
I'm going. Okay.
You never know who will end up doing cataloging, so I think that's a really good idea.
Is it at the region?
It's at the region.
Who did you say, Joe Bethany?
Jobeth's student Laura Reed. She's
Laura
from
Reed.
April 16. So we'll send an email about that. And then on April 18th, I'm hoping to see many of you there. We're having a statewide virtual partnership fair. And since you all are doing so many partners, have so many partners now with doing all that collaboration, I think it would be really nice to see you all there. And I think we'll probably have about 11 organizations that will come and say, this is who we are, this is how we would like to work with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It is really nice, and we've built it over a few years, so this is our third year, I think. And we have a whole list, and you can look at our list, guys, and see all the partners that we're already starting to work with, and they have like specific plans for how they want to work with libraries. So if you're interested in that and want to expand, the list guide is a good place to go, just contact me. But the virtual partnership fair is going to be a good one, and so that will be some new organizations joining us that day. The Southeast Collaborative Conference is going on right now. I don't know if any of you are doing it.
I tried.
Yeah, I kind of did the same. Yes, tomorrow I have like the 7 sessions or something like that. I was signed up for, but up until now nothing. So, but it's a free conference.
My staff is going.
That's great. Any training? Early math literacy is also happening in April on the 24th. That's the SRA. I sent out a couple of emails like Kate made such an announcement. I think that's more or less it. I have this for Henderson Bill, just the core competency Lord boss. And I think that's
Do a whole weird ceremony.
She worked hard on that.
Did she? Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a good program.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, we're going to go back. Lauren, were you the one that put together
I did the picture.
the Asian packet together? So if you want to give us just a quick run
Let
through.
me pull it up on my phone. I've got it on my phone.
Okay.
Y'all can look through it. Where's my pen?
And then after you get through, I'll do another a few questions. So we'll see if we can
Hopefully all questions can be resolved.
Right, yes.
Well, I discovered today a lot of my questions weren't being answered because they were not spelling my last name correctly in the emails.
Oh, okay.
So all the quotes, all the questions that
Oh.
sat in the voice
Yeah.
were because they were sending it to neighbors without the
Oh,
U in
yeah,
it.
There you go.
So
That's
I,
why when I texted you yesterday, I was like, I don't know if she's busy, but he thinks he sent it out, and I was like, I just want to make
yeah,
sure
and he
that
just
there's no
said, I sent it.
Yeah, that you really get you.
So they did, forward an email, and then I saw that they had
Okay, because
done
that's
it, so I'm
what,
like,
you
you
sent
need to
that
change
to
your records.
that math group, and I have been craziness, but I saw them, put, like, with the first question, I was like, okay, we know, like, I've got this in this packet that I'm creating, so I was like, we can answer this question. Yep. All right, so the first page, this is just a guide to cover the different facets of Atrium, how it's a benefit, how it would be cost effective in the long run, at least for what I've viewed from the other libraries in my location. It's cloud-based, so that means that we don't have to host like server memory in-house. Everything, we can access it from the internet. Our data is secured on their site. It won't slow down our servers here as much. TLC has been the pain in our rears because we have to refresh it every 30 seconds. Cataloging should not take days. Today, I was able to catalog, not today, yesterday evening, from like 6 to 7, I cataloged like 30, 40 books, and I was amazed, but I think it's because no one else in the county was on it too. I was doing it after hours. But when Gabby has 2 or 3 catalogers, y'all have 3 catalogers, Dorothy, Debbie, and then me and whoever else might be working on IL, and if you're working on ILL books as well, nobody can get anything done. So this would solve a lot of that issue as well. Page 3, the understanding the need. For library staff, it's a faster, more reliable circulation than what we're currently using. We have access to the MARC records, so when we input like an ISBN, whatever we need, so the record comes directly to us, we can pop it up and it just fills in the code for us, and if we want to add extra information, we can.
From the Library of Congress.
From the Library of Congress, and this is a new feature that they just updated. Whenever, like, contracts are signed, we get a project manager, they have people come on site to each individual library to do a 2-day training, and that's included in the quote. Direct contact with vendors, who uses Hoopla, Overdrive, and that was for the 2 examples he gave, but we can, through this system, we can talk directly with those vendors, so it's not like we're having to go through 3 different people.
Yeah, they can work with that.
And Cybrarian's a big one.
Never got answered.
That's a big one.
Are y'all switched to Cybrarian now?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure, I know that was, miles of walk.
It was something.
Cybrarian's still not my favorite, but
It's
it
better
does
than what
the
we used to
job.
do. It's doing what it did and what it's not,
Yes.
which is functioning.
Yeah.
That is important.
They said there's easy dynamic reports, so when we do that, and we've had Linda Ackerman, who's at Portland, who's been there since the dawn of time. She was with Concourse, which is Atrium now. We switched to TLC, and she's moving back to Atrium, and she's very excited. She said the reports are easier, the cataloging's easier. She has all glowing remarks.
It's one of those statistical things with Atrium. You can prove anything you want to if you pull the right statistics up. So,
And
yeah.
the reports on TLC
Yeah.
are the nightmare.
For library patrons, it's the OPAC, which is the online public access catalog. It will be much more user-friendly, customizable. We can make different sections. We can have suggested books for books you like. Our catalog right now, unless you're in the children's catalog, it has everything all together, kind of mixed together, unless you know exactly what you're searching for. It does not do keywords. If you spell the title wrong, it does not suggest it to you. It's just like, oh, we don't have that title. So if you don't spell James Patterson wrong, you're not going to get anything cited. And that's a feature. There's a mobile app that you can use.
It looks exactly like the one on.
And it speaks to other libraries. So if I don't have it here, they can look within the app and they can see that Portland has it, or that Gallatin has it, or so on. Another big thing, Atrium is used by all Sumner County schools. So we can look at their catalog, we can look at different stuff like that. The kids that use the catalog at school to look for books, it's very familiar for them, it's very intuitive. As they grow, it's just a good consistency for the public. I think that's a good service. There's a page of additional notes. I do not want to read them verbatim. But lots of good glowing remarks. Red River Region with Cecilia. I missed that meeting because I was at a training, but Gabby kind of first talked about Atrium. Glowing remarks
I just
from
asked
a lot
for
of people.
recommendations, and they were all like interrupting each other to brag on Atrium. And they emailed me afterwards all the links and created cards for us, and have really let us help them play around with it.
That just switched. That's good. Stuart County.
That's good. Is that
That's
Gracie?
Gracie.
Yeah, Gracie's giving us stuff. Money is a very important thing. So I got the cost breakdown over the next 5 pages of Gallatin, Hendersonville, Portland, Westmoreland, and Millersville. We are not, Atrium is not a contract-based company, it's year to year. But to keep the costs effective for our budget, keep them well maintained, we have the option that we would be comfortable going to, where it's a 3-year contract where it's an amortization. Yeah, thank you. I can read it.
Yeah.
But it's 3 years at the same price instead of like $5,000, $6,000 up front for my library. It's like $2,000.
Like for the whole amount for everyone to do, the $36,292 is going to be distributed
into 3 years.
Rather than coming up with $36,000.
Yeah, so that top number, like year 1, that is what you pay up front. And like in the contract that he sent, and starting July.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked over if there's a revised one, but year 1, year 2, and year 3 will all be the same. And then starting year 4, now that we've paid off the training and all that initial stuff, year 4 and year 5 start our regular payment, which is even half of what we're paying years 1 through 3. Yours is more, okay, so more than half.
It will be a cost
Mine is
savings
exactly half.
once we pay off the.
Yeah. The first 3 years, it costs more than TLC, and then after that, it is a cost-effective thing after, because TLC will cost more than that. Unless, I don't know about Hendersonville.
Well, for Hendersonville, there are some issues, because even right off the bat, just like our snapshot and our circulation, we're way over 135,000. Like we're over that amount now. So we need to know what happens. I mean, we're already at. It depends.
What's the cost going to look like?
It depends. I mean, what is actually considered a transaction? Because if transaction is just the initial transaction, we're at 148,055. That's for 2022.
Yeah.
So we know we're over that.
And
Now, if it's not that,
if you send him this information
Yeah,
in 24 hours,
but if
we'll have
it's
you
not
over there.
that, if transaction needs something else, as of today's date, we're at 368,000.
Yeah.
The only thing that also, there was a couple of things that, like, only 7% of the libraries that they service are our size library.
Yeah.
It's not a medium library.
And that
or
was
small
my
library.
big
That's a
concern
huge,
up front.
that's a huge.
But that's similar with every company
With
we
the,
got.
with the thing.
Well, it could be that, another thing, I don't know, did you guys get to go into the sandbox and
We
play
played
around?
with some, I haven't
Yeah.
gone too deep.
Yeah, have the catalogers been able to mess around with that, and how do they feel about it?
One of my catalogers came from the schools, and she's only a part-timer, so she plays with it all by herself, but my other 2 catalogers have never looked at it before and were able to do everything.
Yeah.
They found it really intuitive, so.
We did, and it is a lot of information on the main page.
That was my thing, is like,
It's a
look
lot.
of it is kind of funky.
It's very antiquated in the
Yeah.
look. In fact, it looks like beginning programming.
Yeah.
Like, it does not look like anything that we're so
Looks like
used to
someone
with
in
TLC.
college.
Yeah.
TLC has much more of a beautiful interface as far
But
as
only for us.
page.
The user
Well, and the
interface
patrons,
is-
and the patrons. I do think that some of the questions are really cost-effective too, because that $36,000, that's a lot of money that, you know, are we really gonna be able to get that kind of money? Another thing I was really worried about is I did a little bit of research, and unfortunately, Atrium has lost over half its clients in the last 2 years. Why have they
I
lost
hadn't seen that they had lost. I knew GLC's been losing clients left and right as well.
Atrium are down
Over
to
the last 4 years, they
109.
lost 100.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's concerning, because if we're gonna sign a 4-year contract with a company that's has lost almost half their clients, and it looks like a lot of it has to do with the way that they're handling things, so I'm concerned about that. You know, those are questions that I remember getting an email that Alicia was so kind to forward to me from Anita, talking about TLC and how that we could go to the cloud, because we've not even done that. Some of the issues that you guys are talking about, those are truly issues that have to do with IT. They don't have to do with TLC. I mean, even IT has said that there's a lag.
And we found the whole.
The big issue is because it's sitting on our servers.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all on one server.
That's
If you
right.
move to a cloud, we'd probably get rid of it, because Whitetown Library and Stokes Brown Library are, with TLC, they're on the cloud, no issues.
Wilson County is having the exact same problems we are. We just hired a cataloger from Mount Juliet, and she said they're experiencing the exact same thing.
But are they
They're
on the
cloud?
cloud? Well, we've got people that are saying that they're not, so, I mean, that are close by. And we got a wonderful email from Anita, talking about how that we could join the cloud at TLC.
I can't afford to do the cloud.
I can't afford it. I
So-
can't afford it.
so if you can't afford it,
$12,930
then
to be our yearly cloud service.
let me finish. The email that you sent, please. The email that you sent talked about joining the cloud for TLC until the end of the year. And it was a really reasonable price. What do y'all think about maybe trying to join TLC to the end of the year, to where we can see if some of the issues that we're having with TLC are truly something with TLC, or are they truly something with IT? And the reason I say that
I
is,
don't have the money to do that.
but I thought y'all said everybody did have the money to do that.
I don't have the money for this.
For the
For
cloud,
the
we
cloud,
don't.
even just for the
No,
rest
no,
of
no.
this year,
Um,
I do not
Oh,
have
you
the
don't have
money
the
in my budget.
$431?
I do not have the money in my budget. It's been a flat budget for 2 years. I'm going with another flat budget because of the expectations of how everything is working. I do not have it in my budget to do that. And I don't mean to be confrontational, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think Atrium will work great for us, and if I just have to go do Atrium myself, I can. We are not a system. I can't afford to stay on TLC. I can, not with how it is. I send tickets, they never respond. I call, they never send me emails back. I have been able to get every single question answered from Atrium. I agree, it does look a little funky, but on the patron side, the ease of access, so much better. I would rather have our library side be a little bit funkier if it makes it easier for the patrons, because it's really not that funky. I've worked in 5 different library systems. It's not that bad. There's always a transition period that is horrible. And so I understand I hear what you're saying, and I completely agree with your concern. I do not have it in my budget to do that.
May I have asked, if you go if each library gets its own system, I know it's cheaper if you bundle, but how does that affect,
It's not
it's not cheaper if you bundle?
We're not bundling anything.
Oh, okay, well, that's kind of, I guess, what I thought I heard, but anyway, and it made sense, because usually the more, but if each of you get your own system, how does that affect your ability, my ability in Hendersonville to check out a book from Millersville?
You would have to have another Millersville card, which is what you need, yeah.
But can I right now go check out a book, if I'm at Hendersonville Library, can I check out a library book from Millersville?
Currently with your Hendersonville card, the GLC gets.
But you still have to go
Because
to that
y'all all have the
location.
same thing.
Yeah.
But if you have different systems, you won't be able to do that.
I don't want to do that, but I have looked at the budget.
I'm just asking,
No,
I'm
I
asking for
understand.
whoever's watching the video.
No,
I
it would make that a little more challenging, but the number that we actually share and the overlap,
It's a
we
little
manage
overflow.
it in our personal cars. It is,
Yeah, we carry your.
there's
back and
not,
forth.
there's not a
I'm
lot of it.
not asking about that, I'm asking about as a patron, if you all have different systems, that means I'm gonna have to drive to another library to look at their collection. If they say
Oh,
with
you'd
TLC,
be able to look it up
online.
on the website.
We can look it up.
Yeah.
So it won't affect the patron's ability to
No.
function at all.
You wouldn't be able to place a hold on a book unless you have a library card. But if you have a library card for like Gallatin and then in Portland or whatever, if they're on separate systems, then.
You know, I really am not understanding, you know, I'm really at a loss because I literally looked at the numbers in it, and the TLC, staying with TLC looks cheaper than going to Atrium. By almost $15,000. No, but I mean, in like, for example, when you look at the dividing up of the utilization of the infrastructure, the way it's divided up, I'm really not understanding that at all.
So the total charge for TLC, for a yearly charge, with all five of us together and everything, for like me, would be $6,592.
Yes.
According to this, my first year with Atrium would be $5,912. No, with the amortization that they did would only be $3,651. To
Right.
me, that is almost $3,000 less.
But I don't understand how they're dividing up the actual infrastructure for the cloud. So we each use the cloud in the same way. Hendersonville does not use the cloud more than Westmoreland or what, so they divided that.
These are not grouped together. My quote has nothing to do with your quote.
Yes.
These are all individual quotes.
I understand, but the infrastructure,
No.
the infrastructure.
Can't take mine and add it to hers and add it to hers, and that's not the number.
No, and I understand what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. I'm trying to understand, so the actual cost of the infrastructure going to the cloud, shouldn't that be divided equally instead of, the reason why.
No,
We have
no,
historically.
I'm not using your cloud, you're not using my cloud, they're all individual.
We've always divided it up because Hendersonville has a much bigger, like y'all always say, you're a level 5 library, you have so much more circulation, so many more patrons. That's why y'all pay a larger percent of the total cost of TLC. Anita and I serve a similar population, our numbers are similar, so we pay the same amount as each other. And they're tiny, they can't afford to break this up equally, ever. That will never happen, and we will all have to separate, if that is what you're
No,
hinting at.
I'm trying to understand that, is what I really am trying to understand exactly why.
There was a lot of questions that I didn't have the answers, and with no feedback from Andy, up until, 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
I can't answer their questions on that.
And also, there's a lot of things in entering when we were in the sandbox. I think it would be really nice if we could have an actual demo, if they could do a demo for us, so that we can watch how it's being maneuvered around in, and we could ask questions during that time.
Absolutely, just send Andy.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that, yeah, I mean, we're even us trying to do some cataloging and things of that nature was very concerning because we could not, even our barcodes or our patron codes could not be entered because we have the question of how
They'll use our same library card numbers and our same barcodes, the same format will carry right over.
Well, the sandbox, just, it didn't have.
Right.
It's a sandbox.
Yeah, that's why we wanna.
The sandbox is a very limited database.
Yeah.
That's why she sent us the
But we were
barcodes.
really truly trying, we were trying to say, okay, well, why is this not working, is this going to be an issue, you know, these are very valid questions.
Absolutely, had
Yeah.
reached out to Atrium and asked the questions, because we don't have, the answer to this question.
Yeah.
We did,
Yeah.
but like I mentioned earlier, they had my email wrong.
Right,
So that's why we got our question.
Yeah, still haven't got, we thought you guys might know because, you know, you guys
The
are,
questions I was prepared aren't necessarily the same because my teacher, my library, what I have is different. So those weren't the questions I was asking because those weren't what my priorities were.
we're very concerned about those transaction numbers.
Absolutely hear what
Because
you're
if it is each transaction and it is how they count that, then we are way over that, way over that.
And even have a 100% guarantee that all of our records and data will be transferred over
Yeah.
properly without getting lost.
No company is ever gonna be able to offer 100%.
That's the thing. So
No,
what happens
it doesn't matter where you go, nobody can offer
They
it.
Yeah, well, I know, but like, what happens was you involve a bunch of data?
How hard is it to make a new card or catalog a random book occasionally? It's just not that big of a challenge.
But again, I recommend
Like I
reaching out to
said-
Andy.
Yeah, I would
see if
think
he
get
gives
your
you
questions
answers, and then
answered
share it with
again.
us. That would be
Also,
great.
also there is,
I'll see y'all.
there's an exit speaking shield, there's an exit project.
No,
There's not.
Yes,
So we have no contract
There's
with
no
them, so at the end of
contract. They can't.
June, we would literally just walk away.
We were
We have no
told
contract.
$2,000 fee.
Did y'all contact TLC and ask that?
Yeah.
That's what they will charge, but it's not, if our contract, if we finish the fiscal year and we don't renew, then we just don't renew. There's just,
And then one of our biggest concerns is starting in mind, because we are such a huge library, to start a transaction before summer reading, we're really concerned. Because I appreciate that you guys are, talking about all this, because for us, if there's anything, with our numbers and the way that we are and what we're doing in Hendersonville, if we start something like this before summer reading, it could be catastrophic if things don't go well. It could be very catastrophic. And that's very concerning to us.
The thing I see now, we've got to start, because they do have your name spelled correctly now, and you can get the answers to what you want. And that can be a start. If we need to have a special call meeting, or if I need to come to Hendersonville and help you with some of these, okay, I'll be glad to do that. Yeah, I'll be glad to do that. The other beauty I see in this, or advantage, the fact that we're no longer under an executive director where all the money was in one pot, and they had to agree on it to get it from finance to where it's not that way anymore. You could conceivably negotiate your own contract with TLC if that works for you. And the beauty is, we're not tied to one anymore, because your money is yours and their money, and normally we don't get involved in the day-to-day. Yes, but I will be glad to
Sumner
come.
County, where we're all functioning the same, so
But
if
that would be
something
nice.
come up, I
Yeah.
can reach out and say,
That would be an advantage to talk to everybody, but it's not the end of the world if you don't, because computers are wonderful things, and there are kids out there that will figure out they can find a book in your library and they can find a book in Amy's too, better than I could, and I worked with it, but I think that's the beauty in, we don't have to have a thus saith the Lord in order to do this.
And I think finance and that budget's coming, I think they would, I think that the commission would work, and then you're done. People ask us for money year-round, and they're not supposed to, but I'm just saying,
systems on our popcorn
Right,
allowance,
yeah.
well,
it's necessary.
I know,
And it's
but,
something that if it's gonna affect us for the next 4 years, and change is good, change is not always bad at all. But, it's not a difficult system, and it does have some pluses. These are concerns that, I'm thinking about in the long run before, especially even before summer reading, trying to integrate it. For staff, we have a large staff, there's so many things.
Which is
I would-
yeah, we were wanting to start it in April and everything, and that would give us April, May, and June, it was
Yeah.
April and May.
And I saw
everything
that,
before we
yeah.
start with, you know.
I would like
And did
to,
you say they would do a piggyback? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
If they would
basically, we
do a
could run
formal-
TLC right up to the end of June. when we
Right,
do it, yeah.
but you could get Atrium uploaded where you could do them both. Didn't you do that with Surpass? When you were looking at it, where they let you look at both of them? Gabby looked at that, okay, and she's gone, but didn't you say that you could run, you know, you could run both of them and see, you could see on your screen?
we did that. We've done that the
Okay.
last few days. We've been running them both to take a look at them, to see, to compare.
And of course, I know it's a limited kind of
I
thing.
just had, I'm wondering if, because I know that Atrium has been growing in space in general the last few years, but if it would be helpful, I can get a list of who has Atrium right now, so you can see some of them might be closer to your size.
I got a list of them from Marshall, what's his name, Betty?
Yeah, I don't know, but if you have one, that's great. I mean,
Marshall Breeding.
Okay.
You know, the gentleman who does all the comparisons for technology for the United States for libraries through ALA. You know, he does that report he does every year. So all of that information has been gathered in that
You know
report.
who has it in the state?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've already, and actually, I reached out to some of the libraries on
Can you send me
that.
some of that, Lisa?
Yeah,
I sent it to you earlier in the email.
Yeah.
The library, it was yesterday, I believe.
Because
That's
that
the
was my
They just had a list of libraries, and didn't have like.
That report is a very instrumental report in making choices as far as if you were going to go for another system. There's some very interesting information
Is
about
it up to
it.
date? Because I know I clicked on Portland and know that information was
Well,
correct.
some of it isn't,
Yeah,
some of
I
it is
searched
not,
it, right.
but some of it isn't correct as far as who has this system. And, you know, I'm sure in lifetime that there are some
Changes, yeah.
inconsistencies, yes, but for the majority of reading that, you know, it is worth the read to find out. I would like to say real quick, because I just want to give a shout out. I do wish that they would do something for the food for fines. I totally agree. I think that is a very important part of library giving back to the community, and I really hope that they consider taking that recommendation. We used to do it a long time ago, and I think that it's a sad shame that we lost it. I think it's a very good thing of giving back to the community. I totally agree with Amy about that. I'd like to say that. I want that to be heard.
There again, you're gonna have to get, you know, a collaboration between finance and and it's just a talking point because, you know, just see how it goes. But yeah, it's a good idea. But it did serve the community well and you know, left a good feeling.
I will say that they did a lot of really good research about Atrium. That's really nice. I noticed some of the other things were assigned, the Polaris and...
Yeah, we had looked at others. Polaris, Sierra are academic libraries. That's huge. Like it was going to be $15,000 for 1 year, whereas it's like $2,000 for 8 months. And so like the cost versus Polaris is beautiful, and I wish I could use Polaris. I looked all through their training videos on YouTube and talked to the guy, and I was like, this is great. I can't use $15,000. Sorry. Because I sent him the information that Andy had of, not like the full official book, but I was like, this is what we're going to look at as one option. And he's like, yes.
Well, you know, it was so funny. When we first started out in Hendersonville, we were with Concourse, the book system, and when we went over to LS2, we were scared. You know what I mean? It's a scary thing to have to have change and learn, but it worked out fine. And you know, I'm not saying that this is not a great idea. I just am really, there are some questions that I think that might, in the long run, affect Hendersonville because we are so large. That's the biggest concern, you know, as far as data charges and things of that nature.
It comes to, like, I know we want to have a consistency across the board, but if Hendersonville, because y'all are level 5, y'all have, what, 50% of all the library in the county, like, circulation and whatnot. If it comes to the idea of Atrium works better for the smaller libraries, but LS2 works better for the larger libraries, would y'all be able to talk to LS2 as far as like a quote for your location? Okay, I just wonder what that cost would look like for you.
We don't, yeah, I mean, we have to find out, you know.
To get like the
And that's kind of
proration
scary.
and all that stuff.
Because that would help a lot with y'all being of like, would Atrium be beneficial, or would it be like, okay, we transferred a single contract for Hendersonville specifically, and then, like, it might be, if there's no migration cost, there's no
And
setup
again,
cost.
does it affect the patron?
The patron would still be able to use the catalog and look at books. The only thing that would change is, like, I can use my Westmoreland card in any library. They would just have to sign up for a library card at the location they're using. But
So Hendersonville people would have to get the library cards from Millersville?
if they are trying to check something out physically from the library,
Because you would have two different
systems.
systems. Okay, that makes sense, because Metro's all the same.
Yeah, that's.
And so when I look at my books on Metro, everything goes to Goodlettsville, and it's on a cute little bus that says Davidson County, da-da-da.
Something
So
that
they have a
I don't know
courier.
if they would be interested, but like, we use our barcodes that are on the back of our library card to create a patron card. So even if they have one Hendersonville card that has the barcode, I wonder if they could bring it into our location and a courtesy be, they use their Hendersonville card, we just created their account in our
And
system.
use their barcode.
And so they don't have to create a new card or
That's an
anything.
interesting
So
concept.
they'll still be able to keep it, it's just, it would be a different system.
That's
And
an
you could,
interesting
I think
concept.
you could do that manually.
Yeah, I think that would be.
You're thinking there's not that many people that
With the
are gonna
overlap, the
go,
only main overlap I see sometimes is like Hendersonville, Gallatin, but I think a lot of people are like, I like Gallatin or I like Hendersonville, and it's kind of like a.
and it's more, and I think the convenience lies in they can check it out from you, but they can drop it off in Portland. And
That's always gonna be.
that's always, you know, that's always gonna happen.
See,
So-
do you find that a lot of the libraries in Tennessee went to Atrium, or is that?
So I haven't done a study or anything like that. I've heard for a while so a lot of our libraries, with a small budget went with Verso back in the day.
Right.
Because the state did a contract, they made a really good deal, and a lot of those libraries have moved over to book systems, so
Yeah.
to Atrium. But I don't know how many, but in our region, we have, I guess, 4 libraries that have recently moved over from Verso to Atrium, and I'm very happy.
But Verso had its own set of problems.
Yeah, I mean, every
Yeah.
system has problems, and I
Yeah.
think, and of course, that's their experience, and it goes over to this, like,
Right.
this is how, comparing that.
Was it cost effective? Do
Yeah.
you think that's why they went from Verso over to Atrium?
So I don't know, I don't think that was not I don't think that was first it was quite cheap. I think they found that it was like $50 more or less or something like that, so I don't think that really made.
How do you feel like they went to Atrium from Verso?
I think they just had a lot of issues with reports
Yeah.
and I think cataloging might have been an issue at some point, but
On Verso.
I mean, they're all different, and just, like you all say, that you all have issues in different ways when it comes to this, and I think some of them were talking about the patron experience as well.
And I'm sorry, I really thought I understood that everyone could, I really truly thought that everyone had the money in their budget that could try GLC on the cloud for the end. I thought we all had that money, so I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
I know Gabby told me I was right, she did not.
Yeah.
I think you said you was gonna have to give up something.
I said I'd have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't.
But
stop
it's
my
worth,
money
yeah.
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 And try it, but I just.
I mean, and like, if it came to that, but I'm thinking Andy would need, if we're doing this before summer, if we were to make the transition and not pay for TLC another year per library, he says he needs an official go-ahead by April 1st. I put in that report March 22nd because I deal, not with like but like personal life, I deal with people that need a due date earlier, because then I can remind them. But would y'all be able to, like, if y'all only want to stick with LS2, if it's a comfortable thing and it's something that y'all want, would y'all be able to look getting an invoice or a quote for just your location and see what that would compare to this year? Yeah,
Yeah, we reached out.
Oh, y'all just got it yet?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And I even asked her, make sure.
Because I would love to know that,
Yeah.
'cause like,
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person to leave people high and dry as well, but also like, as far as the cloud of TLC, and especially if you wanted to split like 5 equal parts, I don't have the budget for that at all.
No, I just was curious as to why the infrastructure was divided up the way it was.
Yeah.
That infrastructure amount that, I don't know, what was it, 12,930? You know, that everyone's using that equally, and I can understand if, you know, if our budget was a lot more,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe that is, I'm just asking the question because I didn't know the answer.
And that percentage that I used and everything was actually set by the library board 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's actually 40-20, 20-10-10.
That's the one.
So how would, because of that migration, the migration cost to Atrium, how would y'all handle that if we weren't on board with that? Because that migration is not gonna go, it's the same 21,000.
It's,
That
it
21,000
won't cost
migration.
anything for the data. TLC charges if we notify them that we're moving from them. But if we have the data on site that we do, Adrian can use that data.
Because we have the backup, yeah, we have our backup.
But that migration cost of 21,000 is, how would y'all handle that if you had to pay the full migration cost?
We won't have to pay.
There is a migration cost. Our
But if
migration
you
cost.
don't tell them you're leaving,
No,
you
this,
just
we're
let the
talking about
contract run
Atrium.
out.
We're talking about
Oh,
Atrium.
Adrian.
Yeah, I'm talking about Atrium. Our migration cost to move is
Oh.
$2,375.
My migration cost is much cheaper and it's worked into the amortization. So if you, that back page, the colorful graph, it shows you how much you pay each year and that includes the migration cost.
But the thing is that migration cost, the way they split that up, was because we carry the mother load of that amount. They're going to, I would assume that some of this is gonna come back to you, as you're gonna have to pay
It's
it.
based on our personal library numbers.
Okay, my
So
migration
let
is
me ask you a
for
question, just as a listener of this. The sheets that are in the Atrium thing that you put out, that's basically what it's going to be for each of your libraries, not contingent
Not
on each
contingent on
other.
each other.
Okay, that's
So it's
good.
not
Yes.
splitting, it's
Yeah.
actually,
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
good
she's got
because
Hendersonville
that's
here in
concerned, you know, I
Dallas.
was concerned that, like, if we don't go with you, well, part of this 10,375 comes
No,
out.
in that right there, it's just for Henderson.
Because it's based on
There's
your
no cost of ours
circulation.
on there. That is just for
but
Henderson.
each of these sheets that are in this handout,
Because it's based on your circulation, transaction numbers. Like you said, you were concerned about the transaction numbers as well.
That we are concerned about the transaction, because we're over that for sure. So that
And I
is
think that should, when you contact him, give him that information and tell him, this, you know, our transaction numbers are not accurate here, so you need to talk to me about that and give me, see if that changes it or whatever. And
And I think
see what you find out, let me know,
they've
and
lost so many clients.
and
I don't know
I would like to see the
Yeah.
research on that. If you saw the conference where you saw that.
I mean, I've printed it out if you want.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
okay.
And the worst thing is, this is after budget's been turned in.
Yes, yes.
But I know, we
But
know,
again-
several of us understand it has to be fixed. I've talked to others, a couple of other
Thank you.
commissioners, they've talked to Robert Tuttle. We know that there are holes in data could leak,
Right.
and it affects everybody in the county because it all comes through our servers. So,
And, you know, take that with
just to give y'all a heads up, that other commissioners are aware of this.
Well, and that's from the library technology guys, right? Because LS2s, when I looked it up, that was, LS2's got a lot of people leaving as well. So it's kind of like,
I know, it's so true. I
And
just,
this is just a work study, but do we need to have a thing, and no. Do we have a motion, do we have to motion to adjourn?
I think we can just say.
Okay, so y'all can keep talking, I just didn't know if we could
I am.
turn this off. I wasn't